Hey guys, it's Chase Porter, and this is the New Age Comics Podcast. I was trying out, you know, they say to start your podcast with a attention-grabbing thing, but I'm never really good at that. Like I said, I don't really know how to open up the show. You know, like a lot of podcasters have some little quip, I guess, like, fuck, I'm trying to think of one of them. It's like, today. December 31st, you know, that's the daily. Or, one of my favorite podcasts is Behind the Bastards, and Robert Evans is famous for not having an intro. He'll start it out and just be like, podcast. But here I am giving other podcasts advertising space, which I guess that's rule number one about podcasting. No free clout, but I hope you guys are doing well. This is a more prompt episode. Today is Saturday. I'm broadcasting to you from my campus studio that I'm always coming at you from. So pog for that, a little more prompt episode this week. But here's a little thing. Happy New Year, guys. This is the first podcast that you will be hearing from me in 2021. Man, it's been like a year since you guys have seen me. That's crazy. I can't believe I took that much time off. But on top of that, it is also the 20th episode. Isn't that pretty cool? This is the 20th episode of the weekly show that I've done. So I've done, a couple extra episodes here and there. I have some still sitting on my computer because I'm a lazy POS and can't edit them. I can't multitask, but yeah, this is the 20th episode, so yay, woohoo, 20 episodes. For anybody who's been here since episode 1, shout out to you, but I'm pretty sure none of you will be, because on some New Age Comics lore, I used to only post onto SoundCloud, and so those are where the, those are where the dark, first episodes are. But once I got onto YouTube, I think I was, 3 or 4 in, so anyway, this is my 20th episode. 20 weeks in a row. Blah, 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 pagoo. Or whatever. I don't know. I'm getting into Twitch lately, so it's been a whole thing. But my day has been all right. I guess my day has been all right, but I've had a bit of a bad weekend, I guess. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, my weekend was not great. I had a pretty stressful New Year's on top of all of that. So I will probably be giving you an abridged episode today. I'm actually going to be driving about 2 hours to see my family after I record this. So I've had too much coffee, and I also bought a Red Bull, because you know me, I can't record a podcast without that magical concoction, which is body armor and Red Bull. So that is pretty much how my week is going. But we are here today to talk about comics as usual, and we had a decent week last week, a pretty small week, I guess on the smaller end, but it was an exciting week nonetheless. Lots of fun comics. So if you are new here, thanks for joining me. This is New Age Comics, and we talk about comics in the new age, hardy har. But basically, I go into a little bit of news segment, like what's going on right now in comics, and then I get into the reviews, do some rapid fire of everything else, and then get into my top 5. I am ranking comics pretty coldly, I will say. I'm no compassion for these comics. They're getting ranked, with harsh critique. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not that harsh. I feel like, if anything, I'm probably one of the comic podcasters who goes easy on some comics, Like, I think a lot of people are really critical. And I'm just not. I don't know. I usually can walk away from a comic finding something that I like. So I choose not to let the negativity broil. But now I'm just going off. If you like the show, you can follow me wherever you're listening to me right now, and you can join me on Twitter at New Age Comics Pod. I'm usually doing some dumb shit over there, posting stuff. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's aight. But Let me know what your favorite comic of the week was. I would love to know. And if you really want to help the show, if you really like what I do here, you can leave me a rating on Podchaser. Podchaser curates podcasts for other people. Here's another, free ad, but Podchaser curates podcasts for other people. So if I have good ratings on Podchaser, more people will get recommended my little show here. So if you want to go drop me a rating at www.podchaser.com/newAgeComics, I'll have the link in the description of wherever you're listening to this. But one last thing, spoiler warning, I spoil all the comics on the show. So if you don't want a comic spoiled, please go read it and come back, and then we can love all the little spoily goodness. But okay, let's talk about the little news piece I got here.
Now look, I want the real story.
Before we get into the news segment today, I have more of a somber thing just to bring up, and that is that we have lost a legend in the rap game, as well as in the comic game, I guess. This person was a huge comics fan, and one of the most talented musicians I think that's ever graced the mic, and that is MF Doom. We lost MF Doom this last weekend. I think it was announced on the 31st. However, he actually passed away on October 31st. His wife released the announcement on the 1st here, so big rest in peace to the one true villain, MF Doom. He was a lover of comics. Obviously, his whole persona was based around Dr. Doom. And so he seriously is I think, one of the most significant, I guess you could say, like, comic figures in the rap game, because there's a lot of crossover between hip-hop and comic books. And Doom definitely was spearheading a lot of that. So not only do I love his music to death, but it's a true loss. He's one of the best MCs to ever touch the mic. So a moment of silence for the fallen villain. And just remember, all caps when you spell the man name. R.I.P. Doom. Okay, so somberness out of the way. Let's get into the future state kerfuffle that happened last week, I guess. So Future State, for those who don't know, is coming out next week. We are getting the end of Death Metal and the beginning of DC's new line-wide reboot, DC Future State. But for some people, Future State actually began this last week. Rich Johnson at The Bleeding Cool broke this story on December 31st. And what he was saying is basically comic shops all over the U.S. received DC Future State books and Dark Knight's Death Metal 7 early as of last week. So I'm not talking about any of those books because my comic shop did not get them early. And I wouldn't talk about them anyway. That'd be too spoilery. But a lot of comic shops did. They were putting Death Metal 7 and the first wave of Future State titles on the racks. One comic book store, Tony's Kingdom, out in Oregon, released a statement about it, and I'll read what he said. He said, "Honestly, I almost put next week's DC books out for sale by mistake. There was not a single word about the street dates for DC or Lunar, which was surprising. One of my employees mentioned it, so I checked and only found it on the invoice that came out with the shipments. And on their checklist posters, which are often incorrect by the time titles actually ship, we are usually beaten about the head and shoulders regarding breaking street dates and given, 2 emails a week from both companies. The comic store owner said that he refuses to break street dates at his shop. Basically, the day that the comic is supposed to come out, he always puts it out the day it's supposed to on Wednesdays. And he said he even does that traditionally, because DC books now are coming out on Tuesdays technically, but he doesn't put them on the rack till Wednesday. I respect that. That's how my comic book store operates. And, it's just easy. He said he's too busy to, sort subscriptions and pull boxes twice a week. Who has time to do that? And he finished off by saying he appreciates getting the shipments in early, and he kind of wish Diamond would do the same. Because they're often working into the late hours on Tuesday just to do all the pull boxes and stuff. And so that is kind of it. Some of you may be listening to this right now already have Dark Knight's Death Metal 7 and the first wave of Future State books in your hands, which kind of makes me laugh. This is just a little bit of like a goof and a gaff. I recall this happened a while back with one of those Black Widow books with the first Black Widow. I think like a variant cover slipped through the cracks. And funny enough, I actually did pick that book up. Like I walked into the store and was like, oh shit, I didn't think Black Widow was dropping this week. Hey, right on. I just grabbed one unbeknowingly. But this seems kind of like a side effect of the split publishing lines, right? Marvel is still working with Diamond, but DC is working with Lunar Publishing. And I don't know, there seems to be a lot of, I guess, I don't know, maybe rookie mistakes you could call it from Lunar. I don't know how long they've been around as a publishing company, but they've definitely only been working with DC for a little minute now. And so that's really it for this story. It's just kind of a funny little thing, not a ton of topical comic news this week, but if y'all got any of these books early, that would kind of be funny to know. Please comment that down below. Did you get these books early? And if so, please give me a non-spoiler thoughts on the matter. I think that would be cool. And hey, I guess I'll be reviewing those books come around next week. So alrighty, so now let's get into some of the rapid fire books I have from last week. And there's actually not a lot. I only have 3 here today because I only picked up 8 books last week. So you know what that means? It means my top 5 took 5. And so now I'm only left with 3 for the rapid fire. So hopefully this is very rapid, but it might be a little longer because I got time to talk about them. But let's get into the first one. I picked up Ghost Rider Return of Vengeance, issue number 1. This was kind of a strange issue, like a black sheep issue on the rack here. It is written by Anthony Mackie. This book is kind of a blast from the past, I guess you could say. Vengeance is an old 90s Ghost Rider character, obviously, and it even brings back the old creative teams from the 90s, which is Howard Mackie and Javier Soltres. They did art back in the day, and now they're returning to do a little one-shot here. I thought this book was cool. It definitely was a 90s book, through and through. It did all the 90s shit. It was pretty dense, it had some action moments, but I had fun. I had fun reading this book, and I really wonder, was this book meant to set up something? Is Vengeance going to be relevant in I don't know, maybe King in Black? I mean, that could be a thing. But apparently they've been working on this book for a couple years now. However, the fallout is that Vengeance is back. I guess he's back from hell. So we'll see. Maybe that'll turn up later. The Ghost Rider run ended a few months ago, so we won't see him there, but I guess we got a Ghost Rider King in Black tie-in coming up, so who knows? Maybe we'll see him there. Next, and this is a penultimate issue alert, Shang-Chi issue number 4. I've been liking Shang-Chi so far. I think the first issue has been the best, I guess, but this story is actually really fun. And I love Shang-Chi, and I think his whole mythos is really cool. And yeah, this issue was pretty neat. It features kind of a big monster battle, right? One of those little cliche moments, but actually has a scene that I loved to death. And that is when Shang-Chi goes and has a meal with his deceased uncle and learns actually a really, pivotal point, I guess a plot twist about what happened with his father and his uncle's murder. And it's really good issue, I think, and I think the next issue, if it plays its cards right, will end up in my top 5. So definitely check out Shang-Chi. It's a good fun read. And lastly, wow, this was pretty rapid, but this is my honorable mention, and I am giving it to Wolverine issue number 8, or should I say issue number 350. I guess that's the legacy number. But this is sort of an anniversary issue. Like I said, it's 350, so it is a $5 book. But I liked this issue a lot. Didn't quite crack the top 5, but this issue has a lot of fun stuff in it. Has double art from who is it? Adam Kubert or Andy Kubert, and Benjamin Percy obviously is writing it, with Viktor Bogdanovich doing the preemptive art to the main story. They introduced this new villain named Maverick, who I guess is one of Logan's old, doing fucked up shit colleagues, right? And we also get to see some of the Wolvie family, kind of like the Bat family. There's the Wolverine family. With we saw Honey Badger and Dakin in this issue, and they fought up with Omega Red, who I think is maybe technically a part of the Wolverine family. I'm not really sure, but I like this issue quite a bit, and it's actually a really good hopping on point. So if you haven't been reading Wolverine, this is definitely a really good issue to start. And I think the next issue is going to be in my top 5 because Logan is going to a auction. And I don't know, just go look at the cover for Wolverine 9 and you will know what I mean. All right, those rapid fire books were fired off rapidly, I dare say. So let's get into my top 5 of the week. And I guess I might have a surprising one here for you guys at my number 5 spot. And I am giving this one to Dark. This is the longest title ever, so relish this. But Dark Knight's Death Metal: The Last 52 War of the Multiverses, Issue 1. It feels like they were kind of going for long titles as it went on, just like thinking of how many more little things they could add onto it. But this is the last Dark Knight's Death Metal tie-in that we're getting. So this is an event that's been going on for some months now, and the way it's worked out is they drop an issue of the main title, and then we get some tie-in, I don't know, one-shots, I guess. There really haven't been any serial tie-ins, just one-shots here and there. These are usually pretty thick books. This one was $9, being the last one. Obviously, it makes kind of sense. And most of them have been anthology-type books with lots of different stories into them. Now, I gave Dark Knight's Death Metal Secret Origin last week my number 3 spot, and I think that one still is my favorite Dark Knight's Death Metal tie-in. I will say, though, it's kind of not fair because that one tells, I guess, one story, right? So it gives you one story that breathes really well. This one is another anthology. But I will say, I think this one probably is the best anthology book of the event, if that makes sense. You know, because I don't want to include books like Trinity Crisis. Trinity Crisis was like another kind of singular story type book. And I think those books just kind of have like an advantage over these books. Anthology books, I think, are really tough to nail every story because that's how they all work. There's some little minis in them you can take, some you can leave. And of course, that's how this one goes. But I think as far as death metal books, this one has the most that you can take, if you will. Now, I'll just kind of shout out some of my favorite ones here. I really liked the Batman story in here, written by James Tynion, and I mean, I knew I was going to love it because Alex Maleev did art on it, and the story is actually really awesome. It's kind of Batman, I don't know, metal Batman, right? Because he's got the leather jacket and the scythe, and the Black Lantern ring. He is fighting the Batman Who Laughs, not the one who laughs, right? Because Batman Who Laughs is like God mode right now. I guess this is like a dead version of the Batman Who Laughs. And so it's kind of one last hurrah for us as the reader to look at the spiky guy. And I really liked this little mini. It was a lot of fun. It just kind of did the whole like, I need you and you need me type thing. But Alex Maleev just is murderous with the art. He's seriously so good. A story I didn't think I would care for as much as I did, but it was the little Atom story in here. And I guess I say little Atom and that's ironic, he is the Atom. But he fights like the dark multiverse Atom, and it's actually a pretty cool story. I not a ton to say about it, but it was, Kyle Higgins kind of killed it there. And actually, this one might compete as one of my favorites in the book, and that was the Lois Lane story. Like, Jesus, was anybody expecting this little Lois Lane mini to be as good as it was? I certainly wasn't. I thought it was awesome. I think it was like a cool little, I don't know, a last little, I guess, is a vignette? Is that the right word? No, that's not the right word. I guess a cherry on top. It's the last little cherry on top for this last year because the Lois Lane series ended, and I loved the Lois Lane series. And I thought this was a really cool little last hurrah for her as a character who got a lot of shine in 2020. And I guess in this publishing phase of DC. And the ending there is crazy, okay? That Lois Lane story where she fights like herself, but Superman, like super Lois Lane, who's killed all the superheroes. Nuts. I loved the ending here. The Teen Titans story, I guess I felt like I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm not a big Teen Titans guy, but some last little amazing stories that they throw at you here. See, and this is what I'm saying. Most of the stories are really good in this. The Penguin story came out of nowhere. That was a really good one. Kudos to the writer for that one. I'll find the writer's name here. But the Penguin story was really good. It was very gory. It was written by Marguerite Bennett. I probably butchered that name, but this story was really good, really gory, and really dark, I have to say. But it does what I like that these stories do. I like when these minis take like a component of the character and extrapolate it into something personal, I guess, and then also weaving it into the event. And I guess that's a tall order, but I think this Penguin story did it really well. It went dark multiverse, it went fucked up, it went gory and edgy, but it also said something about Penguin as a character, and I loved that. And the last two here were the Constantine story written by Matthew Rosenberg, and I think that story was just perfect. I mean, like, how else will you write a Constantine Dark Knight's death metal story? He's got to do some trickery, and he also has to fight, his dark multiverse clone. That's kind of been the theme of this last book, because that's what happens in the next story, which is a Swamp Thing tale, where Swamp Thing fights the Swamp King. Which I liked that name, and we get to see a lot of villain deaths, and I won't lie, we maybe even see the death of Swamp Thing in here, and it was The Reign of the Swamp King is the title of it, and it's written by Justin Jordan, who snapped on it. I'm surprised they didn't get Ram V to write it, alas. But I love how that Swamp Thing story ended. They shouted out Brimstone in the Swamp Thing story. We definitely wasn't seeing that coming, and I guess this book ends off with a pretty epic moment, and I'll quote it here, is Wonder Woman, Golden Wonder Woman, is about to square off with the One Who Laughs. She's gone big, right? Like literally grown, like on some Ant-Man shit. And she says, the only sound the multiverse is going to hear is the sound of me kicking your ass. Which, I mean, I don't know, the book is death metal, right? So it's going for that metal aesthetic, I think, and that is one of those endings that I think achieves that, right? You get the death metal, you get the ass kicking, you get the blue hair highlights. It's a lot of fun. In the end, I guess this is one of the last death metal books that we'll be receiving, and I think this was a good last hurrah as far as the tie-ins go. And hopefully Death Metal 7 can stick the landing. So I'm very excited to read that next week. Some of you apparently have read it already. But, I think this was a good ending as far as tie-ins go for the death metal event. And last little thing, shout out to Dan Mora. He did that cover. It's fucking amazing. So, yeah. Dark Knight's Death Metal. Read it. Given my number 4 spot this week to Batman Annual, issue number 5. I guess this was a book I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did. This has the amazing creative team of James Tynion IV, and so I guess this is his second comic appearing in my top 5 this week. But James Tynion rocks this story, as well as the art. The art is, I think, really the show stealer here, and it is James Stokoe, I think is how you say his name, or Stokoe. Well, whatever. Just casually butchering names left and right. But this annual is the origin of Clown Hunter. James Tynion, he has created plenty of characters in his current Batman run that's ongoing. And Clown Hunter was one of them. He's a very interesting guy. I think his name is Bao, B-A-O. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, name butchering left and right. But this is pretty much his origin story. It gets told here in a bit of a flashback scene. If you recall from the Batman run, Batman gave Clown Hunter Leslie Tompkins' business card, I guess you could say, because you know the shtick. She's the night nurse, and he was like looking out for him. Obviously, Batman does not agree with Clown Hunter's philosophy, which is kill 'em all, fuck 'em all. But nonetheless, Batman did not want Clown Hunter to go without medical attention, and that is sort of where we jump off of and into this book. So Clown Hunter, he goes into Leslie Tompkins' place, and we get to learn a lot of shit about him. The art here is just stunning, just throughout the way. There is an amazing Pearls scene in the beginning of this book that, usually I don't care for the Pearls. Pearls, I don't know, reenactments, right? Every goddamn Batman book does Pearls over and over again. And, we all know at this point. But I think this book did a very good rendition of it. It was only a spread page too, so it's not exactly something that I think beat you over the head with, let's recap Batman's entire origin story. Like, come on, we already know. But Leslie Tompkins and Bao start to talk, and we learn Bao's origin story, pretty much why he fucking hates the Joker and hates these clowns so goddamn much. And oh my god, this is a pretty fucked up origin story, I have to say. I mean, the art doesn't do it any favors in that regard, because the art is, I don't know, you have to look at James Stokoe's art. It's kind of one of those art styles that is very detailed, so it lends itself really well to some of the like gruesome and grotesque moments, which, it's Joker, so we get some of the Joker gas with the smiling, and it's pretty chilling. And the way he draws Batman is also extremely interesting. But essentially, Joker came into his family's restaurant, ordered some pho, and killed his parents with Joker gas in front of him. So if that's not going to fuck you up, here's what was Batman saying, "I'm sorry, I won't let shit like that happen again, and he gives him a batarang. This is kind of the origin story of Clown Hunter's Bat, as he refers to it in this comic, which I think was really cool. Like, James Tynion was ready. He was fucking ready to make new characters, and I love that. Like, he was so, I don't know, just like ready to go with like origin stories worked out and how they weave together. And it's just great, you know, it's just really refreshing to get a new character that has a lot of character. And this book kind of ties back to the moment that Bao, I don't know, snapped. And that was during Joker War, obviously. That's when we first saw Clown Hunter emerge. And it's an amazing scene. Someone's like, oh my God, the old lady downstairs is burning. Can you go check on her while I get help? He's like, sure. Goes down there and just, again, grotesque, horrifying art. James Tynion is also the king of horror books right now. He's just killing every horror book. Sorry, Joe Hill. But this is where Bao snaps. And he goes into his room. I do think the way that he constructed his bats was a little corny. He takes his batarang off the wall and it's like, you liar, throws the batarang and it just lands smack dab into his baseball bat. That was a little corny, right? A little on the nose, but it was cool nonetheless. He took a broom handle. That's how he made his little mohawk. And then, goddamn, one of my favorite kills in this book has to be when Clown Hunter goes outside. He trips up one of the, I don't know, Joker clowns, one of the rioters that's running around, and he smashes his Molotov cocktail with his bat like right onto him. And it's just it's amazingly drawn, and it's like a really fucked up scene, I guess, because this dude's just burning alive below Clown Hunter, and then he fights a whole squad of clown goons. But we flash back, and it was one of those things where Leslie Tompkins takes a really compassionate approach to him. You know, I think she sees a lot of, I guess, Batman in him. You know, there's a lot of parallels there. And that was like a heartwarming ending to the book. And then Batman pops through and we get some dialogue that kind of points out their similarities. And then an amazing last little panel. I guess that's my walkthrough of the book. I really liked this annual. I thought it was an awesome, information for us as the reader. We get to know Clown Hunter very sympathetically as well. I think we all, understand him a little bit better now. But I will say the real MVP of this book was the art. James Stokoe, kills it. And obviously James Tynion, is there to provide the scenery. So absolutely. I don't know if this is going to be the last Batman annual. I guess it will be for a year. But yeah, a little bit of an unexpected book that I got that I turned out really loving. So check out the Batman Annual number 5 if you're really interested in Clown Hunter and his fucked up origin story. For my bronze medal book this week, I am giving it to, and this will make the X fans happy, I'm giving it to X-Men issue number 16. This is written by Jonathan Hickman, colored by Phil Noto. Not colored, drawn and colored by Phil Noto. This book was really fucking good. So this is kind of the beginning of, I guess you could say, the X of Swords fallout. Definitely the most fallout-y book I have gotten into so far. Wolverine, like I said, kind of a good jumping on point, doesn't really reference X of Swords all that much. Same with X-Force. It honestly felt like I said in my review of X-Force 15, I loved the book, but it acted like X of Swords never happened. And I won't lie, that was making me a little soft, I guess. I was just like, oh man, I was really looking forward to some X of Swords Fallout stuff. But here we get it, okay? It's in this book. Now, the book begins with a redux of the mutant sex. The book begins with a redux of island sex, something that we saw in a few issues back. Some islands, Krakoa and Arakko, they had some sex. And it was weird, but we get to see that again here. However, for some reason, one of the islands can't get it up, I guess you could say, because they start to resist each other. And this is where the X of Swords fallout begins. So, cool thing, one of my favorite scenes in this book is when Cypher, he's speaking with Krakoa, and Krakoa builds a body for itself, like a big, I don't know, plant transformer is what it looks like. And he picks up Cypher, and they walk over across the river and speak with the same transformer figure that is Arakko. And it turns out that, and this is really interesting, okay? One thing that this book does really well, in my opinion, is gives you really good, it sets up a lot of really cool shit for down the line. And one of the main things in this book is that Arakko is not exactly what the X-Men think it is. So X of Swords ended with the two mutant nations coming together, right? And that was the whole thing. I think Apocalypse gave himself up, but then claimed Arakko for Krakoa. And the thing is, the two islands are not going to mesh very well. One of those reasons being, apparently, I think there's a lot of dialogue in here, and so I might be missing a few details, but I don't believe that the island wants to, like the island of Arakko itself, because I think it's a mutant, it doesn't really want to mix with Krakoa. But there's some more problems, and this is probably the biggest issue, and I think one of the most exciting details that got dropped, it is that the population of Arakko is extremely vast. I think they said it was something like 20 million mutants. They say the population here is about 20 times the size of Krakoa, which Krakoa is every single mutant on Earth. And now it's, I guess, 20 times the size of that, when I think the islands are about the same size, which I think is really interesting. I'm actually really curious to see what Arakko civilization looks like, because 20 times the population of Krakoa, I guess you could expect like a metropolitan type mutant area, right? Like if Krakoa is akin to, I don't know, just picking a state from random here, if it's akin to Nebraska, then it sounds like Arakko is akin to like New York, just population dense, but about the same size. I thought that was extremely interesting, and I can't wait to see what that looks like. After that, we get to see the return of a fan favorite Arakkoan sword bearer, and that is Iska the Unbeatable. For some reason, this always escapes me. I do not understand comic Twitter completely. I operate on it a lot, and it's still a mystery to me. And that's because for some goddamn reason, people will stan literally any character. And Iska, for some reason, became one of those characters. Everyone just loves to tweet pictures and say, she, like it's super deep or some shit. I don't know. It's beyond me. But Iska is killing some, I don't know, what do they call it? Some of the Amenthian creatures. And a really cool scene is when Magneto and Xavier, they approach Iska and kind of are just trying to sort this whole thing out. And it's really cool. They try and offer her a peace offering for Arakko, which is one of their flowers, right? So a portal, just for ease of travel. And Iska, they get into this whole talk about how Arakko is not used to, I don't know, I guess like coexisting with people, where Krakoa is, right? Krakoa is existing as a nation on a planet with other nations. And once they break this news to Iska, they're like, you're still like trying to like work with humans? What the fuck is that shit? But she takes their offer and is going to take it to the Arakkoan Council. Now, I'm probably not using that terminology right, Arakkoan, I don't know. But the Great Council, they call it the Ring of Arakko, right? We have the Quiet Council, they have the Ring. And we learned something really interesting. Apparently, you can only sit on this council as an Omega level mutant in Arakko, which definitely flips the script a lot, I don't know how many Omega levels are sitting on the Quiet Council, but you have to be an Omega to sit on the Ring of Arakko. Super interesting. And there's not only that, it's organized differently. It has 14 seats. I think that's more than the Quiet Council. And there are 3 seats called the Knight that are unknown. I guess the members are unknown. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, it's Hickman, right? He's going to set up like 100 things in one issue because it's just effortless for him. And he absolutely does that here. I loved this part. I thought it was super interesting. We're going to get to learn more about Arakko, and I can't wait. But the end here is, I think, what everyone is super excited about, me being one of those people, the election of the X-Men. I mean, it's kind of on the nose, right? We just got done with our election cycle here in the States. And we're going to be doing an election for the X-Men, which is really cool. I guess the X-Men were disbanded a few issues back, I believe. I'm pretty sure right before X of Swords. And we get to see, I mean, if you think about it, I think at the end there, when Jean Grey does the "to me, my X-Men" moment, right? You could say that was sort of like a symbolic, like the X-Men are back, baby. And it's true because they are back. Apparently, they're going to be holding a literal election, and I love the reasoning for it. Jean Grey says it here at the end. She says, if the X-Men are for the people, then we figured it would be best to leave the decision up to them. So, and then Cyclops picks up, we're going to let the people vote. What? Very cool. I'm very excited about what that prospect, I guess, looks like. In an election, that's pretty neat. Are we going to see some campaigning? I don't know. We will see. So let me know in the comments, who has your vote? I jokingly said on Twitter that I want Glob or Blob. I think it's Glob, the pink, guy with all the bones and skeletons. I just love his design, and a really random mutant. But genuinely, let me know who you want to see on the team. It appears that Quiet Council members are not eligible to sit on the council, which kind of sucks because that's a lot of my favorite mutants, like Nightcrawler, for instance, is on there, as well as like Emma Frost. They can't be on it. And Storm, damn, that sucks. So it's going to be some interesting mutants. Wolverine's true superpower is to be on every team at once. So we might see him on the book. I wonder how that will actually affect the Wolverine run. So we'll see, but let me know in the comments who you would really like to see, I guess, get elected onto the new X-Men team. And hey, it's pretty cool. The X-Men are back. For my number 2 spot and for my number 1 spot, little tease here. They're both really fun books that I just adored reading from front to back. But my number 2 is going to King in Black, tie-in, Iron Man and Doctor Doom, issue number 1. This is a blast to read. The creative team here is Christopher Cantwell, obviously the king of the Armored Boys, and he gets his Doom artist here with him, Salvador Larroca and Guru FX. They're on the book. This book kicked ass. This book was so fun. Seriously, I don't know. There's such a lack of, I think, books on the rack right now that are just like unadulterated, like funsies. You know what I'm saying? And this book does it. And I think it does it in a really, tasteful way and a really awesome way. Because Doom and Iron Man, I think, are such a great duo. Doom makes a lot of good duos, right? Him and Doctor Strange are a great duo. Him and Reed Richards are a great duo. But him and Tony Stark are an amazing duo, right? They're both armored men. They're both armored guys. And in this book, not only is it a King in Black tie-in, but the thing is, they're fighting a nullified Santa Claus. Which, if that description doesn't make you want to read this book already, I don't know what's wrong with you. But that's pretty much what we get to see in this book is, nullified Santa fighting our 2 armored friends. Now, if you read King in Black 2, you know that Iron Man's suit right now is kind of, I don't know, it's like symbiotic. There's a whole thing going on with the extremists virus and how Iron Man tried to integrate with the symbiotes. But in here, they squab up with Santa Claus, and we get some really funny dialogue lines, right? A little known fact, Santa Claus is a canonical character in the Marvel Universe. He's actually an Omega level mutant. I don't know if this is still canon or if this is just some little fan thing that happened in one book. But yeah, he's an Omega level mutant. How else would he be able to travel to all the houses in one night? I just love that the Marvel Universe is like, no, Santa's real, right? Like if fucking Galactus is real, obviously Santa is real. But we get some amazing little funny lines from Santa, like jingle kill. And violent night, no moonlight, all is bright. Sleigh bells sting in perdition. I'm just reading. Experience my pain, dear. And then one of my favorite moments is he's swearing, and it's like a bell, a snowflake, some candy canes, and it's just really funny. I really like this book. The art is great. I mean, Salvador Larroca is killing it. I mean, and I think what was great about this book is it gave me, a humongous Doom fan from the last book, a good opportunity to just kind of re-experience Doom and Cantwell's run. It's almost like Cantwell's last little chef's kiss off with Doom. And yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say on the matter. I mean, this book was just a blast. It was a total King in Black funsies book. And the last line here is great, where Doom is like, could Klaus be a sorcerer supreme? Like, that was hilarious. And I can't wait to keep reading some of Cantwell's, Armored Boy adventures in Iron Man 5, which will be coming out soon, I believe. So yeah, this is a great King in Black tie-in. Definitely pick it up, especially if you've been reading the Doom and Iron Man runs. But honestly, if you just like Christmas, you got to read this. It's a good old Christmas book with sleigh bells, literally. Okay, for my number one book this week, I think I'm going to catch a little flack for this, all right? I'm pretty sure I'm the only fucking goddamn podcast host who likes this run right now. I'd be curious to see if anyone else is, I mean, even digging this, but I am giving my number one spot to Avengers issue number 40. This is written by Jason Aaron and has pencils by Javier Garron and colors by David Curiel. I was really excited for this book. This is the beginning of the Enter the Phoenix arc, okay? So, I don't know, a lot of people have been giving the Jason Aaron Avengers a lot of flack lately. Some of it I think is warranted. Some of it I don't feel is warranted. You know, there are certain issues that are more warranted than others. You all know this. I didn't care for the Reign of Khonshu arc, but I loved some of the previous arcs. You know, I love all the shit with Coulson and the Squadron Supreme. I loved the Vampire run. The Ride of the Ghost Riders was really cool. I think this run is just so much fun. It gives Jason Aaron a lot of opportunities to just kind of have fun in the Marvel Universe. And that's the thing. This book is getting my number one spot this week because it's so daggone fun. I'm going to start censoring myself with with funny swear words. So it's so freaking cool. But no, really, like this book is awesome. It has a lot of fun stuff. The art is really great. You get to see a lot of Avengers get Phoenixified. And I guess to look into the story a little bit, the Phoenix Force is always looking for new hosts, right? And obviously, I think this is why this arc is getting a lot of preemptive flack. Everyone's a purist and they only want Jean Grey to be the only person as the Phoenix Force. And I get it, you know, the Phoenix Force has probably been thrown to a lot of characters over the years, and it's whatever. But if you look at this book in a vacuum, come on, like it's a lot of fun. I mean, you open up and Dr. Doom has a goddamn Phoenix Force, and he's fighting Captain America, who has the Phoenix Force. And the great thing is, what makes this so fun, I think, is the art. Javier Garron, it does really great. And like they redesign all the characters, designs with like Phoenix stuff. And so Cap has like this Phoenix outfit that looks super, super spiffy and everyone's on fire. I mean, it's just a blast. And yes, this book does move a little fast, in my opinion. Like it sets up a lot of shit really quickly. But I think that's really all it needed to do, because the gist of this arc is it's going to be a tournament, right? So this is maybe could be a little bit of X of Swords, a little bit of X of Swords, I guess, like saving, if you will, because I think we all thought X of Swords was going to be just a tournament style, like Naruto Chunin exam type thing. But that actually looks like this arc is going to lean more into that tournament style. Because that's the thing, they are all fighting for the Phoenix Force, or fighting to be the next host of the Phoenix Force. Cap gets the Phoenix Force and fights Doom. That's kind of the main crux of this issue. And it's a really good fight, I have to say. But really the thing that makes me most hype about this comic is that last page. Jason Aaron knows how to give you a good last page. And this one is sweet, okay? So Cap finishes his fight with Doom. They do their whole like sayings back and forth. And Doom disappears, right? He says Doom forfeits and then just leaves, right? Because I think Cap beats the Phoenix Force out of him. And then Cap himself disappears. And this is where shit gets really exciting for me, because they pop up into just, this like random like mindscape type place. And he's there with Jen Walters, Wolverine, and Namor. But he looks up and he sees a whole cast of characters. And that's the thing is, these are going to be our contenders for this tournament. And part of the reason I love Jason Aaron's writing, even when it's just bombastic and wild, is Jason Aaron, you can tell, is a true fan of Marvel Comics, because he loves to throw in some of those like B, C-list characters, you know? I mean, he just did this whole run, in my opinion, has been B, C-list characters getting shine. And maybe that's why I will not stop defending Jason Aaron's Avengers. Like, even from the beginning, it's just, lots of characters that don't get a ton of shine. Obviously, Blade is on the fucking Avengers. Name me one more Avengers run with Blade on it. I will wait. And even from the jump with Robbie Reyes on the team, one of my favorite Marvel characters. And so, who we get to see here at the end, reminder, these are the people who I think will be contending for the Phoenix Force. So we get to see Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Howard the Duck, Hyperion. This looks like Lady Shiva. I don't know her name. I think it's like Khazar's Boothang. But then like Echo is on here, and guess who she's standing on top of? Man-Thing. Like, guys, come on. These are amazing characters. And behind them, it's Luke Cage and Nighthawk. Like, how do you guys hate this run? I'm raging in the studio here. But then, of course, Jean Foster Valkyrie is up there, one of Aaron's little things in the universe. And then even some more random characters. I think this is, I don't know, the Eyeball or whatever his name is, that Eyeball guy, kind of one of Jason Aaron's little characters. But then Shang-Chi, Namor, Black Knight, obviously Cap, Black Panther, Jen Walters, Wolverine. And then here's maybe one of the most interesting ones I have to point out, because Aaron really has been doing like a long game setup here. So again, I'm going to be defending this run. People who think that this has been just kind of surface level stuff, it's not. I'll tell you this, it's not. Jason Aaron has been setting things up for a long time, maybe too long. That's your opinion. My opinion is I'm excited for it because the Red Widow is in this little last splash page. Now, the Red Widow has been set up for a long time. I think it was like Avengers 10 or something. So 30 issues ago, I think we got to see Red Widow. And I mean, it's been kind of a mysterious thing that's been set up and kind of abandoned. And here she is. So maybe the return of the Russian Avengers. That was a whole arc with the vampires and stuff. God, I don't know. I'm just liking this Jason Aaron Avengers run. And I mean, last but not least, these covers by Lenwell Yu, they're amazing. Like, seriously, guys, part of me just doesn't understand the hate that this book is getting. But these covers are great, and the next cover is awesome. It's Black Panther Phoenix Force. Like, even if you think the Phoenix Force is overused and spammed everywhere, these covers are great. Come on. So I'm enjoying this run. I thought the first Enter the Phoenix issue was really good. And it's making me excited for the next one. And I guess that's all I can really ask for, right? Because the Khonshu stuff, it was exciting, but I don't know, there was just something lacking out of it. And I don't think anything's lacking from this new Avengers. So I'm excited for this next arc. I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys give it a chance. I know there's some hate out there that exists for Jason Aaron. Just give it a shot. Don't look at who's writing it. Just read it and have fun. That's what I did, and I really enjoyed this book, clearly, because it's my #1 book of the week. So kudos to Jason Aaron. He has hooked me back in on his Avengers run, and I hope it keeps on going. So Enter the Phoenix is off to a good start for me, and I hope it continues to be awesome. And what I mean by that is I really just hope to see Luke Cage with the Phoenix Force, Luke Cage and Shang-Chi, probably Nighthawk too. There's a lot of characters that I think would be cool. Echo, I think it's actually Echo. I just need to see everybody on that last page get the Phoenix Force, especially Howard the Duck. Okay, this isn't my number one review anymore. This is the after the show. What's coming out next week? Because as far as comic reviews go, that's all I really got for you guys this week. I said it was going to be a little bit shorter. I hope this is a little bit shorter. I'm glancing over at my recording here, and it is running over an hour. But, magic of editing and all that. But what is dropping next week? Well, funny you might ask, dear listener, a lot of comics are dropping next week. It's a fatty week next week. So I'll begin with some of the tie-ins. I've actually organized these what's dropping next week's into their own little chunks. First of all, we're getting some King in Black next week. We're getting 2 tie-ins. We're getting Guardians issue number 10, and we're getting King in Black, Return of the Valkyries issue number 1. I am excited for both of these books. Apparently, the Valkyrie book is going to feature Sentry at some point, but then it's also a big Donny Cates week next week because we're getting another King in Black tie-in, Venom issue number 32. I'm very interested to see how that turns out because, Eddie just, spoiler alert, fucking died. He just flatlined in the last King in Black issue. But that's not it as far as King in Black goes. But that's not it as far as Donny Cates goes because we're getting Thor number 11, very exciting, and we're also getting Crossover issue number 3. I mean, I'm blessed. We're all blessed to get 3 Donny Cates books in 1 week, especially to kick off the new year, because this will be our first NCBD, New Comic Book Day, of 2021. Very exciting. We're also getting Iron Man 5. I've been loving Iron Man. Can't wait for that. However, we're getting a lot of finales. A lot of finales next week. We're getting 4 finales next week, okay? We're getting Ultraman, Rise of the Ultraman, number 5. Excited for that. We're going to see some kaiju mollywopping. We're also getting Juggernaut, issue number 5. Very excited for that. Been loving both these little 5-parters. A book that I almost forgot about was Hellblazer, Rise and Fall, issue number 3. Black Label, magazine, book type. They've all been very fun. Derek Robertson on art. It's a good blast with Tom Taylor. However, okay, guys, this is the finale. I prophesized this in the beginning of the show. This is the finale I'm really excited for, and that is Dark Knight's Death Metal, issue number 7. Can't fucking wait for that. And then we're getting some number 1 issues, right? Because Death Metal is ending, so we're getting some number 1 books. Of all the Future State books this week, the books I know I'm getting are going to be Swamp Thing number 1 and the next Batman issue number 1, okay? These aren't all this Future State books dropping. We're getting the, we're getting the new Wonder Woman, Yara Flor, and we're also getting Harley Quinn. Those are going to get the rack test from me. I may or may not pick up the Wonder Woman book. Yara Flor, it's going to be a book that's spec'd, so maybe I want it just to be greedy. But I'm definitely getting those 2 Future State books. Might pick up a couple more. And lastly, another book I've been hyped for, The Eternals, issue number 1. This is getting the Shang-Chi treatment, where we're getting a movie soon, so they're bringing up the Eternals back into the comics, and I'm really excited for that. I've read a little bit of Eternals here and there, just the Neil Gaiman run, and I'm excited. It's going to be Kieran Gillen, the space Marvel scribe. He wrote the first Annihilation event, and we're also getting Asad Ribic on the art there, which that's a creative team that's going to just murder it. Kieran Gillen taking on the Eternals. Come on, you got to read it. So boom, that's all that's coming out next week. I'm very pumped. It's a huge week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books already, and I said I might even pick up more. Hot damn. But, we're getting some that are ending and some tie-ins. So, alas, that is all I got for you guys this week. Sorry it was a bit of a abridged episode, if it's shorter, but I'm sure you don't mind. You're probably just sick of hearing me talk your damn ear off. So, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Guys and gals, thank you for listening. It's another week. My 20th episode. Hit the like button for the 20th episode, and here's to another 20. But I will catch you guys next week after comics drop on the 6th. And I hope you have a good week, guys. So I'll catch you later.